Hey guys, it's your old pal Brian. I figured I'd go ahead and do a final thoughts on our Europe trip and France as well. We have about 4 days left. We're going to go to Normandy. I want to stand on the beach where those young men gave their lives to, frankly, keep Paris free and the rest of the world. Tonight we do Moulin Rouge, and then after that it's a matter of getting home. A friend of mine who was a contemporary on the job, who also did 30 something years, he had a great observation. He said, I've met people who've said they were going to travel when they retire, and hundreds of them throughout my life, he said, but you and your wife are the only ones that have ever done it. And I got to thinking about it, and I met hundreds upon hundreds of people throughout my lifetime who said they were going to retire and travel, and they never did it either. So it was a great compliment. About this trip, it hasn't been perfect. I'll give the negatives right off the bat. Two things. One, my wife and I both got sick on the road. And understand this, I've tried to consider everything. That way there will be no surprises about anything. And I knew one or the other was going to get sick. That happened on our 46-day Canada tour last year. My wife ended up getting sick. The year before that, I got sick just before we went. So it's going to happen, and you work through it. I don't think In the Tube Deep is going to take personal joy in this, but yes, crime found us on this trip. We were going from Holland to Brussels, and if you they did something cheesy on the train. They packed as many people as they could on there, and in doing so, criminals made their way on the train. People who are polished and good at what they do, and they grabbed our bag full of meds and took it. And but my wife and I discussed this. We carried 4 bags with us on the road, and I said, what happens if we lose one or all of them? And our obligation, frankly, is to pivot. And we did so. When we got to Brussels, we were pleasantly surprised that you don't need a prescription to get all your meds. So $60 later, we're back in the pink. Did it sting? Yes. Was there a failure on our side? Yes. The only way to do it is to hold on to your bags. But you can't do that all the time. So now the negatives are out of the way. Let's talk about positives. Oh my God, it's been enriching. We got this down to a science. We get to our Airbnb or our hotel. We mostly make our own food. We evaluate the facility. Then we go out and we buy groceries. We hit a hop-on, hop-off bus on day one to kind of look and see what's doing. My wife, who's a genius at this, spent about 500 hours on it last year, already kind of knows what we're going to be doing, and we go out and do it. Would I do anything different? Yes. I would have done this when I was younger, and having already traveled and died in debt. My wife has listened to me be pedantic about the fact that God doesn't give you any more time on the backside of this life. We're a cop and a nurse, and we know how the story's going to end. And it has been a blessing. In my morose humor, I say that if I were to slump over and die while recording this video, it just wouldn't matter. We've had a blast. So, final thoughts on Paris. Absolutely beautiful. I'd love to come back. Final thoughts on travel. It's just been amazing. I mean, it has. We've just been blessed, and I look forward to walking on the beach in Normandy tomorrow or the next day, and I look forward to going home. We've had a lovely time, but it's time to go home and see our dog and our loved ones, not necessarily in that order. We'll be home for 7 days. Got to see doctors and get scripts filled and that sort of thing, and then we tow our rig to Maine, where we'll relax for a couple of months, come back home. This is all God's kind to us. Come back home and be home for about 5 days, go to Alaska and do a train and boat tour of Alaska, and helicopter, by the way, and then come back and do the Western Rockies, and then come back and go back up to North Carolina for a month. And then the holidays are upon us, and then we're going to do an entire season in Maine next year is our plan there again, if God's kind to us. So to wrap it up, we've had a blast. In a few days it'll be 67 days in UK and portions of Europe. It's just been amazing. It's just incredible, and God has been so unbelievably kind to us. I just can't share that enough. I hope all is well in your collective worlds. Oh, and the best for the last. The Rowdies have been on my mind. I just keep forgetting to say anything in the beginning of the videos. So all the best to the Rowdies that have been good enough to follow along as well. See ya.